Out of Daly City or Pacifica northbound Highway 1, the ramp that takes you onto southbound 280. A crash right at the end of the ramp, so it's got traffic backed up beyond Clarinata, and then if you're southbound on 280, this is affecting you as well. As you get a bit south of John Daly Boulevard, you're going to see the brake lights ahead, and it's going to take you down to the crash site, which again is right near the Highway 1 ramp. Also, we heard from Ian of the KCBS phone force. He's stuck in some traffic on Sharp Park. And it looks like there is a crash as you make your way eastbound. It's before you get to Gypsy Hill. It's blocking, though. Traffic is backed up almost to Highway 1 as a result. In the meantime, we're looking at problems at the Altamont Pass trying to get there. Westbound 205 at Mountain House Parkway. A couple vehicles got into it. Looks like 3-vehicle crash. Blocks the left lane at Mountain House. Traffic is backed up solid from 11th Street. And then there was an earlier crash at Grant Line that's now off to the side, but that doesn't help anything as you try to make your way up to the top of the hill. Also, just coming in on the peninsula, first report of a crash south 101 at Marsh and Menlo Park. This looks like the left lane CHP is en route. Your next update, 7:58 on the traffic leader, KCBS. Mancini Fleet World 6-day forecast now. It is calling for mostly sunny skies after the overcast this morning. Highs getting into the 60s and low 70s at the beaches, 70s and 80s by the bay, to the low to mid 90s inland. Tomorrow through Friday all look mostly sunny with a little haze in the air. This is after morning coastal fog. Highs getting into the 60s into the low 90s. Will be mostly sunny over the weekend, but we cool off. Highs getting into the 60s to mid 80s. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. KCBS News Time 7:51. Bernie Beyer and Vivian Bosu-Skinner are at the KCBS editor's desk. Governor Gavin Newsom vetoed a bill yesterday that would have legalized safe consumption sites at a state level, but San Francisco leaders say they will move forward with their own plans to open a dedicated safe consumption site. For more on this, we're joined on the KCBS Ring Central Newsline by our insider Phil Matier. Phil, thanks as always for taking the time to talk to us. What are the politics at play here?
Quite a bit on the local, state, and even national level. Let's start with the state. Governor Gavin Newsom, as you said, vetoed the idea of pilot programs in Los Angeles, Oakland, and San Francisco for safe injection centers, which is basically giving the state, the green light cities to oversee people shooting up drugs or using drugs. The idea that it would reduce overdose deaths and as an alternative to what we're seeing on the streets. Now that's politically fraught. I mean, even if Gavin Newsom wasn't considering a run for president, which a lot of people are speculating he is, the idea that California, already swamped with a drug problem that is easily seen on television on any night, would do is a pretty big step, and one that may be a bit risky for the governor, even though he supports the concept. On the state, on the local level, it's the question of whether you open one of these sites, does that actually make things better on the street or make it worse? But they can go ahead and do it through a new nonprofit. The third one is that everybody's waiting is on the federal level, because it wasn't the state that was going to lock someone up or take away their money or their building, but the feds. And right now there's a decision called the Philadelphia decision that started under the Trump administration, where they came down hard on opening up one of these sites through a nonprofit, and now they're looking at some sort of resolution of that, but there's a question about whether they thought it was going to be done in July and that some guidelines were going to be set up, but that hasn't happened, and there's a question of whether that's going to happen before the midterm elections, because it's not necessarily something the Biden administration wants to get involved in.
All right, let's talk about San Francisco itself going forward with these plans. Can there be any sort of feedback, blowback for the politicians here?
Yeah, there could be. I mean, it's twofold. One, the city wouldn't do it. What they would do is, let's say they would take a group like Glide Memorial, which already does a lot of outreach in health, or the AIDS Foundation that does a lot of health and drug outreach, and say, okay, we're going to let you run this, and we'll increase your funding, okay? But it's at arm's length, so the politicians are staying a bit away from it. But this could reduce drug overdose deaths, but drug overdose deaths are already going down thanks to Narcan, which is a drug that can counteract the effects of an overdose. But the biggest question is whether it makes things better. But they're still using them out on the parks and on the streets, and the needles are still out there. That doesn't bode well for the mayor or anybody else. We'll have advocates that say, it's okay, we need both. So that locally, they're a bit back and forth, saying, okay, if also that we're we're not going to allow this other behavior, or will we have both? Which in some ways makes things better, but in some ways makes things just as bad or worse.
All right, Phil, thanks as always. That's KCBS insider Phil Mateer, who will be back this afternoon with Pat and Brett at 5:50. It is Money Watch time on KCBS with Lisa Mateo joining us from the Bloomberg News. Good morning, Melissa. Well, Wall Street trying to make a comeback after its worst setback since June. Right now, stocks are mixed with the Nasdaq up 23 points, S&P just up a fraction, Dow right now down 88 points. Well, the housing market continues to cool as new home sales fell in July for the sixth time this year to the lowest pace since early 2016. Now, purchases from the previous month. This is higher prices keep those buyers on the sidelines. Well, Instagram appears to be. Bloomberg reports Meta Platforms is testing a prototype of Be Real. Now, we're talking about Be Real, the popular photo app that notifies users to post an image once a day at the same time as all their friends, while a Twitter post is now asking Instagram users to join IG challenges, which is essentially the same thing. I'm Lisa Mateo, Bloomberg Business for KCBS. It didn't mean a lot to me, but after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite. When you want something great, you probably don't want to wait for it. Might even be stuck waiting in traffic right now, and, well, how enjoyable is that? Well, Xfinity has a great new offer on fast internet right now. You'll get unlimited internet with gig speed and supersonic Wi-Fi, too. And get this, there's no annual contract required, no equipment fees, and a 2-year internet rate guarantee. Plus, it even comes with a free Flex 4K streaming box. And it's all just $50 a month when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data, a price that is truly jaw-dropping. The Xfinity Supersonic Bundle. Well, don't wait. Visit Xfinity.com/100Xfinity or visit a store to learn more today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay. New gigabit internet customers only. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
Hi, this is Patty Rising with an update on River Islands in Lathrop. It is a great time to see for yourself all the wonderful things about River Islands. Check out all that green, acres and acres of parks, baseball tournaments at Islanders Field, or grab some goodies at the farmers market, or a bite at the Boathouse restaurant. River Islands has 12 sizes and prices. The best place to start your tour is at riverislands.com. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands?
KCBS News Time 7:58. Let's check back in with Kim Wonderly. She's in your local Honda Dealers Traffic Center, and she's got an update on the situation in Daly City. Yep, we still have a crash here. This is on northbound Highway 1, the ramp that takes you on to southbound 280. This is really impacting South 280 commuters right now. Traffic is backed up. It's shy of John Daly Boulevard, but just as you come south of there, expect brake lights down to the Highway 1 split. CHP was talking about running a traffic brake to clear this, but it doesn't look like that's been accomplished. Looks like we have a disabled vehicle on the upper deck of the Bay Bridge. This is reported westbound, just west of the tunnel, and we definitely are seeing a line of cars now as you in San Francisco that wasn't there earlier. So looks like they're dealing with this possibly in the left lane. Disabled vehicle here. Traffic at the toll plaza is still backed up right around the foot of the MacArthur Maze, but more slow traffic ahead. Your next update, 8:08 on the traffic leader, KCBS. Expected throughout the afternoon today after the morning overcast. Highs getting into the 60s and 70s.
into the 80s to the mid-90s inland. We've got traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. It is Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. Coming up on KCBS, I'm Jennifer Hodges with more on the class action lawsuit filed against Kaiser over COVID testing.
And this is Matt Bigler. An autopsy will be conducted today on what is believed to be the body of missing truckie teenager Kylie Rodney.
And Texas-sized flooding that is drenching Dallas has a spillover effect on air travel nationwide. Good morning, I'm Melissa Colross. CBS News is next. You need to know. KCBS AM, KFRC FM, and HD1, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, and Honesty Station. 8 o'clock.
CBS News on the Hour, presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. Torrential rain, dangerous flash flooding. It's caused death and destruction in Dallas.
Places in North Texas were swamped after historic rain. The rain fell in 24 hours, leading to widespread flooding and hundreds of water rescues. These women had to be rescued from their inundated home and car.
I thought it was going to come down. The rain keep coming. Not even 5 minutes. Just rushing into the house. The fire started closing. So I started, holy hell, crying.
There's the threat of more flash flooding today in areas of Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
At least one death is blamed on the weather in North Texas and at the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport.
I was canceled yesterday. It was canceled this morning, and now we're back again.
One woman remains missing after flooding in Utah's Zion National Park. Forecasters say in spite of all the rain in the southwest, it only puts a dent in the region's drought. Former President Trump wants a special master or third-party attorney to review the documents from his Florida home by the FBI. CBS's Robert Costa.
The New York Times reports that since this summer and then searched his home, that number has climbed, with more than 300 documents with classified markings obtained by the Justice Department.
It's primary voting day today in Florida and New York, as we hear from CBS's Scott McFarlane.
After a messy and lengthy fight over for Congress, including in New York City, where two powerful veteran U.S. House Democrats, Judiciary Chair must run against each other. In Florida, Democrats choose their nominees to run against Governor Ron DeSantis. Marco Rubio.
In northern Michigan, an unidentified virus has killed dozens of dogs over the past month. It's similar to a known virus that causes gastrointestinal illness, mostly in puppies. But state veterinarian Nora Wineland says it's believed to be a different and more easily spread strain.
If there's a problem, is not going to be covered by the vaccine, then looking at the virus's genetics will help us understand that, and then an update to the vaccine would, of course, be needed.
Washington Post reports that Twitter has filed whistleblower complaints with federal officials, alleging that the company misled regulators about its cybersecurity defenses and its problems with fake accounts. Wall Street right now, another down day. The Dow is off 164 points. The Nasdaq's down 13. The S&P. This is CBS News.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Visit libertymutual.com to learn more.
It is 8:03 at the Bay Area's news station, KCBS. Hazy sunshine expected this afternoon after the overcast. Good morning, I'm Melissa Colross, and here's what's happening. An autopsy will be conducted later today on the body found in a car in a reservoir near Truckee. The deceased is believed to be missing teenager Kylie Rodney. KCBS's Matt Bigler joins us live now to report. Investigators now are trying to determine how her SUV ended up underwater. Matt.
Melissa, investigators from multiple agencies will be going over Kylie Rodney's Honda CR-V with a fine-tooth comb. The vehicle was towed from the Prosser Creek Reservoir on Sunday.
You know, the FBI is working, evaluating the vehicle. We'll come in and examine data, examine the vehicle, have all of our investigators look at that car.
That's Josh Hellers with the CHP. He says the case is now considered a fatal traffic collision. Initially, this was thought to be a kidnapping case after the 16-year-old disappeared from a large party at a nearby campground. Sam Brown, a captain with the Nevada County Sheriff, admitted yesterday that characterization may have helped their investigation.
We also probably wouldn't have received all the services and all the people if that wasn't an option. If this was truly a search and rescue mission, we may not have had all the resources